Greetings, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Rosemary of Tina Rosie's Craft and Sews. Hope you're all kicking strong today. Please, if you watch my content and you find it interesting, please do well to subscribe, like, click on the notification bell, and leave a comment at the comment section. Today I'll be showing you how to draft this off-shoulder sweetheart neck ankle level gown with a side slit. Just get a cup of water or juice and join me as we go through this tutorial together. You should start by folding the pattern paper vertically into two, just as I've done, because the lower front part of the dress is asymmetrical and we can only achieve that by working with half of the body measurement instead of a quarter. Secondly, you will need to start drafting from the basic bodice pattern from shoulder to waist. I have a video on how to draft a basic bodice pattern on my channel. From this waist point or waistline, you will have to go down by 21 centimeters to have the hip line. When you're done marking the hip point, place a quarter of the hip circumference and connect that point back to the waist. Furthermore, you will have to extend the dart line to the hip line. Now from the bust span line on the waist, you will have to go down by 14 centimeters to create the waist dart. When you're done marking that point, connect the 1.5 centimeter point on both sides of the bust span line at the waist to the 14 centimeters point. The next thing to do is to place the full length of the dress, and the full length I'm working with is 140 centimeters. At the full length, you will have to place a horizontal line which equals a quarter of the hip circumference, and then you will connect that point back to the hip line. Now you have to extend this bust span line at the hip right down to the hem. This bust span line is very important because it gives us direction on where to place the side slit. From the bust point, go down by 10 centimeters to have the underbust point, and then draw a horizontal line at that point. From the center front along the underbust line, place the underbust circumference divided by 4. And when you're done doing that, you'll notice that there is some space remaining. Measure that space, divide the value into 2, and add the value to both sides of the dart on the underbust line and connect the points, just as I'm doing. Note that this dart is created only for the front part of the dress so that there will be more fitness and space for the breast to occupy. In this light, the smaller dart inside will be used behind the dress or at the back part of the dress, while the bigger dart is for the front part of the dress. Now from the shoulder line, go down by 16 centimeters along the armhole curve, and at that point, you will gradually curve a sweetheart neckline towards the center front. When you're done, you will have to extend the bust span line up to the sweetheart neckline. On this side of the bust span line that is close to the armhole, go out by 3 centimeters, and on the side that is close to the center front, go out by 1.5 centimeters. Then connect down to the point where the bust pan line meets the bust line. You will see that I've shaded the pattern from the shoulder to the sweetheart neck because I won't be using that part. And from the waistline, I came up by 4 centimeters to form the half cut, and I've indicated it with a series of X. From the half cut line, I went in by 2 centimeters and I connected that point right up to the back neckline and down to the hip line. This is to create a space and fitness for the zip. Now, using a tracing wheel, you have to trace all the lines on the lower part of the pattern so that half of this pattern can come out on the other side of the pattern paper. Because remember, the lower part of the dress in front is asymmetrical and we need to work with half of the body measurement instead of a quarter. From the bottom corners of the hem, go in by 3 centimeters and connect that point to the hip line to add some fitness to the dress. You will also have to decide on which side you want your slit to be. As for me, I prefer it on the left side of my body. Now cut along the half cut line to separate the lower part of the dress from the upper part. When you're done doing that, go ahead and cut the lower pattern pieces out. I've decided that the side slit should be on this side, so I'll gradually cut this pattern through like this, cutting the waist dart away. You will see that I have 2 unequal pieces for the front, while for the back, I'll have to fold the larger pattern piece like this, and then I'll place and cut the 2 patterns for the back. This is because the back patterns are symmetrical while the front patterns are asymmetrical. For the upper part of the dress, since I did the front and the back pattern on the same pattern piece, I will cut it out firstly like this. Take a close look as I fold to have the back pattern. Another option is to transfer the back pattern to another pattern paper using a tracing wheel. That's an option as I've done here. After having the back pattern, you can now cut the front pattern pieces out. Note that for this upper part of the bustier dress, we have 3 pattern pieces for the front part of the dress and 2 pattern pieces for the back part of the dress. When you're done cutting out the different pattern pieces, place them on whatever fabric you choose to use and get ready for the sewing tutorials. I used a yellow lace and a yellow satin fabric for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Bye-bye.